Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and today I want to talk about something funny in the episode Justice in the first season of Star Trek TNG, which, like many of the episodes in the first season, is kind of cringy and strange, but it's kind of cringy in a good way. It's kind of like unintentional comedy. It almost feels like watching an episode of The Orville, which is a more comedic version of Star Trek, so watching this episode is kind of funny, even in a good way, I would say, even though there is definitely some cringy moments, especially in the beginning. Some people even accuse this episode of being racist. I personally don't think there's anything racist in this episode, but if you look at the context of the whole season, then I can kind of get the point, because just a few episodes before this one, they went to a planet which was all with black people, and it was all a primitive culture, and they were all violent barbarians, and they were all black. And then you have this episode, and all of them are white, blonde, with blue eyes, and it's a perfect paradise kind of place. So I guess someone decided that's how beautiful people should look like. So if you look at these two episodes back to back, it does look kind of strange, even though they didn't show this society as being perfect. Like in the beginning they did, it looked like a paradise, but then they revealed that their laws are actually very extreme, fascistic, unfair, so it's not really a paradise. Also there was literally kind of a god being in orbit of that planet, so it was kind of a metaphor to Eden, the Garden of Eden. But anyway, this is not the topic of this video. I want to talk about the fact that when they showed their planet, it looks exactly like Starfleet Academy, which appeared in later seasons and continued to appear in all the other Star Trek shows, including Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and even Enterprise, which was a prequel. And obviously the reason is because it was filmed at the same exact location, at the water reclamation plant, which has a building which looks kind of futuristic, and also that garden is beautiful, and so that's why this was used, by the way, in many other movies as well. I made compilations of it on my other channel. I showed all the places it appears in other movies. I'm sure I'll continue to collect it if I see it in other places. So this was a place that everybody filmed at, and so they decided to use it as Starfleet Academy as well later, hoping no one would notice. And they added a bridge in the background and all the stuff to make it look as if it's in San Francisco. But I still think this is kind of a continuity problem, because anytime you look back at this episode, you obviously see that it's Starfleet Academy, the exact same places. So I guess some people would just say try not to notice that, just like they often use the same actors to play different kind of aliens, and they put a little bit of strange makeup on them, and then you're not supposed to notice it's the same actor playing that. So similarly here, it's the same location exactly, but let's just pretend it's not. But still, I think it would be fun to actually discuss it and come up with excuses purely for fun. Because just as much as I enjoy nitpicking stuff, I also enjoy coming up with excuses and inventing theories and stories and ideas to try to explain stuff like that. So let me try to come up with an excuse that would explain this in-universe. So, first of all, in his captain's log, Picard says that the Enterprise has just discovered this planet and made first contact for the first time with this planet. I assume that means the planet has advanced technology, that they have warp drive, otherwise it would violate the Prime Directive. And by the way, there's another small contradiction when Worf was on the planet and they started running with the natives, and then Riker says to him, "When in Rome," and then Worf doesn't know where Rome is. I found that kind of fishy as well, because later they said that Worf grew up on Earth, that he was adopted by human parents from a very young age, and so shouldn't he know about all the countries and cities on Earth? If he was accepted into the academy, he must be an educated guy, right? So how come he didn't know where Rome is? Maybe it was destroyed in the nuclear war or something, so how come Worf didn't know that? I guess because when they wrote this episode, they didn't yet write that piece of his backstory. They didn't yet know that he's supposed to be from Earth. He was supposed to be, I guess, from Kronos. And only later they wrote that in. So anyway, back to the topic of Starfleet Academy. So Picard said that they just made first contact with these people for the first time, which means they have warp technology, which means other advanced technology. We also know that the Enterprise is the first Starfleet ship that ever visited them. Therefore, I don't think we can claim that someone from Starfleet visited there before and took pictures and then went back to Starfleet and designed the academy to look like their planet because he liked it so much. And another reason why it can't be so is because, as we saw in the prequel Enterprise set 200 years before, Starfleet Academy already looked like that. And so I don't think I can claim that someone from Starfleet plagiarized the design of the Edo to make Starfleet Academy. So that theory doesn't work. The other solution is that the Edo people actually designed that place to look like Starfleet Academy, maybe as a greeting to the humans, maybe to make them feel comfortable. The only problem with that is how did they do it so fast, because they said that they sent one away team down to the planet, then they came back to the ship, and then immediately they went down again, and it all looked like Starfleet Academy, and no one was surprised by this either. So it doesn't seem to make sense either. Now we can claim that because they have advanced technology, as I said, maybe they have the ability to quickly replicate buildings and gardens. So maybe when the first away team arrived, which we didn't see on screen, that happened before the episode began, maybe the Edo asked them to show pictures of their planet, and then they showed them Starfleet Academy, and maybe they then took that design and told them to come back a few hours later, and they used their advanced technology, which might be even more advanced than Starfleet's technology, even though we didn't really see them use any technology, but they do have it, otherwise Prime Directive would not allow them to even come to the planet. So maybe they used their advanced technology to make that whole place look exactly like Starfleet Academy as a greeting to the humans, to make them feel comfortable and to feel at home, basically. Now the only problem remaining is that no one seemed surprised by this. When the second away team arrived, no one said, hey, that looks exactly like Starfleet Academy, did they really do all of this for us? No one seemed surprised by this. Now we can argue that maybe off screen they knew about it, maybe they talked about it in the turbo lift, maybe Riker told all the members of the away team, just so you know, they asked for photos of Starfleet Academy, and they said they're going to redesign that whole place we're beaming to look exactly like it, so don't be surprised, and that's why no one was surprised when we saw it on screen. So I guess that's the only way to explain this. That's the only excuse that would make sense, that the Edo people were so good-hearted, they were so welcoming, they were so eager to please, that they were willing to do all of that just to make the humans feel welcome. And it does kind of fit what we see in the episode, because as we see, they basically throw themselves at them and are willing to have sex with them on the spot immediately, because they're just so nice. So that's what I meant when I said this is kind of cringy episode, that it seems to be like someone's fantasy, arriving to a planet with beautiful people who want to have sex with you all the time and are just so eager to please. I think this idea was later reused in the episode about Ryza, because Ryza was also a place like that, where you can just come there and just have sex with any woman you see, because the culture there is so welcoming. At least with Ryza it made a little more sense, because they imply that you have to actually pay to go to the planet, so it's basically like a giant whorehouse. Picard didn't know that when he first came there, but as we later saw in a Deep Space Nine episode, it was implied that you have to buy certain things in order to get all the services. For example, you have to buy and then display a whore gun if you want to get the women to come to you. And I don't think that name was a coincidence, by the way, a whore gun. Even though it's spelled differently, but I don't think that's a coincidence. I think whoever wrote that knew exactly what he's doing. So anyway, all kinds of stuff like that was in a lot of episodes in the early TNG, all kinds of hippie ideas, like free sex and all that stuff. I mean, even in the ship itself, they often show that even men were wearing skirts and walking around in skirts. All kinds of ideas like that. So this episode is probably the best example of all kinds of hippie ideas. So anyway, because we saw how eager to please and how welcoming these people are, I think it is a plausible theory to suggest that with advanced technology that can do it quickly, maybe they were willing to redesign that whole greeting area to look exactly like the planet of the people they are greeting. So I guess it's possible. Maybe they were even using holograms and stuff, I guess it's possible. So I think this is the only theory we can come up with to try to explain this in-universe. So that's it for now. Let me know what you think about this theory of mine. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, please click the notification bell as not to miss any of my videos. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.